From Bali's billionaires' row to private jets, here's what it's like to be a billionaire in Indonesia. Brothers Robert Bambang Budi and Michael Hartono are worth more than 4 times what anyone else in Indonesia is worth at $42.6 billion. In 2021, they accumulated an additional $3.8 billion. Divided up, that's over $10.4 million a day. That hefty rise was thanks to rising shares of Bank Central Asia, in which the Hartonos have a majority stake. They bought it from the $8.5 billion Salim family, who lost control of the BCA during the 1997-98 Asian economic crisis. We'll talk more about the Salims later. Bank Central Asia controls 1.28 trillion Indonesian rupiah, or $85.6 billion in assets, by the way. Where did the bulk of the initial family wealth come from? A portly inheritance from their Chinese father, Oei Wei Guan, who founded the Djarum Group in 1951. The Djarum Group manufactures clove-flavored cigarettes. They move an estimated 58.8 billion ciggies a year. That's a lot of cancer sticks. The Hartonos have not gone from rags to riches, but rather from riches to super riches, as they have earned almost 3/4 of their fortune, or $31.6 billion, in the last 11 years. Their family holdings include the popular electronics brand Polytron, which makes scooters, washing machines, and such. These crazy rich Indonesians keep their prime Jakartan real estate hidden from the public, as well as their Kudus, Central Java homes. Robert Hartono and wife Joff have 3 sons, each of whom got companies to run. Victor, the eldest, is the president-director of the Djarum Foundation, which has a market capitalization of $34.3 billion. Martin is the CEO of GDP Venture, and Armand is the deputy president of the BCA. Forget sailing, horse racing, golf, and other rich people sports. Michael Hartono plays professional bridge, a strategic card game that keeps his mind loose and sharp. He even won a bronze medal for bridge in the Asian Games. He hilariously fell asleep during the finals match because he drank a little too much wine before. And we kinda gotta give him a break, as he is 82 after all. He learned how to play bridge as a child during the Japanese occupation of Indonesia during World War II. Michael Hartono is not known for big spending. In fact, he was once spotted eating dinner at a humble diner in Semarang. When you're that rich, everything you do makes the news. The Hartono family seems fixated on keeping costs very low. That's why many children pick their tobacco in their tobacco fields, a source of great controversy. Robert's son Martin Hartono is a little more public with his spending, as he's bought an $11.7 million mansion near the star-studded Bird Streets in the Hollywood Hills. Living near Martin on the avian-named roads are big names like Leo DiCaprio, Keanu Reeves, and Jennifer Aniston. What's the best thing about being a billionaire in Indonesia? Clifftop villas with Indian Ocean views in Bukit. Exaggeratedly nicknamed Bali's Billionaires Row, for 3.7 million USDs, you get an 8,847 square foot freehold villa that sits on 15,284 square feet of land. This 5-bedroom, 6-bathroom has 24/7 security, not 1 but 2 swimming pools, a jacuzzi, spa, and steam room, all of which are surrounded by lush tropical gardens and from which you can see the ocean. In terms of location, you're 30 minutes away from the beachfront tourist town of Kuta, as well as the Bali airport and Green Bowl, one of the best surfing destinations in all of Indonesia. 6-foot swells are daily occurrences at that beach. What's the worst thing about being a billionaire in Bali? Or anywhere for that matter? According to Mark Cuban, nothing. The Widjaja family are another dynasty wealthy through inheritance. They have a current net worth of $9.7 billion. The late great Chinese immigrant Ika Cipta Widjaja handed his assets down when he passed on in 2019 at the ripe old age of 98. Ika started off selling biscuits, bought a paper mill in the 70s, and founded the Sinar Mas Group, one of the largest conglomerates in Indonesia. Unlike many Indonesians we have and will talk about in this video, Ika was known to flaunt his wealth like new money is known to do. He rode around in fancy cars, like his $126,000 Mercedes-Benz S500, which was often part of a motorcade. He occasionally switches it up with a $49,000 Mercedes-Benz GLB SUV, black, of course. He fathered 40 children by many women said to be his wives, and so he was very easily able to afford child support. He even wore a diamond-encrusted belt with his name on it, which is a pretty clear sign this guy had a great many baby mamas. Polygamy isn't anything new anywhere, especially among the world's richest. During the era of imperial dynasties, Chinese emperors and warlords lived with multitudinous concubines and often chose their successors from among their concubines' sons. In a family where the patriarch's love and time is so divided, sometimes the only thing to cling on to is money and power. Ika's son, Freddy Wajaja, sued 5 of his step-siblings over inheritance disputes for seemingly impossible amounts from the point of view of your average Joe. Ika was clearly more generous with the children of his first wife. He had 6 boys and 2 girls. They are heavily involved in several of their father's publicly traded companies and hold positions of great influence across Sinar Mas. The $30 billion conglomerate is now entering its 3rd generation of Wajaja leadership. There's a Chinese saying that goes, wealth does not last beyond 3 generations. We'll see if the Wajajas break the curse. Anthony Salim leads the Salim Group and has a net worth of $8.5 billion. He functions as CEO of Indofood, an instant noodles big-timer with a revenue of $5.8 billion. The Salim fam also owns a stake in Hong Kong's investment firm First Pacific, which has assets of $5.1 billion across 6 countries. Anthony, like Michael Corleone, is the youngest son of a tycoon, the late Liam Seo Leong, who, like Vito Corleone, was very close to political figures, like former Indonesian President Suharto, who reigned supreme in Indonesia from 1967 all the way to when his house was burned down and he was forced to resign in 1998. Key political ties can really push your business to the next level. Anthony got a fancy education at Ewell County Technical College in the UK. He wasn't a good student, but he did acquire a taste for British automotive excellence when he was there. He rolls around in a snooty $202,000 Bentley Continental GT. Anthony has an elegant $13.4 million Embraer Legacy 600 private jet. The Brazilian-built super mid-sized business jet seats an unlucky number 13, has hand-stitched leather seats, and has golden cup holders. Window seat, sir? Why, yes, every time. Chris Aquino owes Anthony Salim and his jet a lot for probably saving her life. She had a severe allergy attack during a commercial shoot. Her brother, former President Noynoy Aquino, had to call Salim to see if he could fly her back to the Philippines so she could get medical attention. Anthony's son Axton is the Salim Group executive director. Oh, and he has a tricked-out $21,000 Hello Kitty Honda Civic. The Star Wars fan is also a sneakerhead, purchasing such collectibles as the $200 Reebok Instapump Fury trainers and a pair of $1,160 Chanel x Pharrell Williams x Adidas Original NMD Hue Trails, currently reselling for 10 grand. Middle child Astrid Salim keeps a lower-than-low profile, while the youngest, Alston, went a different way from the family business altogether. He became a fashion designer and cosplayer. Hey, not all billionaires are about yachts and jets. Sri Prakash Lohia is a $6.8 billion man who made much of his fortune with Petrorama Group, producing polyethylene terephthalate, or PET, and other petrochemicals. He moved to Indonesia with his father in the 1970s. Together, they co-founded Indorama Corporation as a maker of spun yarn. Now they make fertilizers, polyolefins, textile raw materials, and medical gloves. Lohia is still the chairman, but resides in London with wifey Seema Mittal, sister of another billionaire, $17.9 billion steel baron Laxmi Mittal. What are the odds? They live in a Mayfair house called the Sheridan Residence. It's the same house Irish writer Richard Bringsley Sheridan lived. The gold-trimmed interior gives a royal feel to this heritage property, which they have remodeled according to Vastu Shastra, which are texts on the traditional Indian system of architecture. The renovations only cost them $67.9 million. What? In integrating architecture with nature, the power couple put a waterfall in their home, as well as a deliciously named 5-star cake room, as they so aptly called it. German and Italian paintings everywhere, including the ceilings, some of them 250 years old and older. There's a music room complete with mahogany grand piano and floors, and an interior garden. Mr. Lohia is a boss-level old book and lithograph collector, and has the world's second largest collection of colored lithographs. It takes a $50 million check and $5 million a year to run the Lohia family Sea Pearl yacht by Ocean Co., which they own. The 197-foot, 992-ton vessel comfortably holds 14 guests and 18 crew members. You can't charter it, though, and it's not for sale. The Lohias don't need your dough to support their seafaring habits. And for liftoff, it's another $50 million for his G550 private jet. When he touches down in England from his adopted home of Indonesia, either a $550,000 Rolls-Royce Phantom or a $214,600 Bentley Flying Spur is waiting for him on the runway. That's pretty alright, ain't it? Shri Prakash's little bro Aloke lives in Thailand, where he runs PET polymer maker Indorama Ventures Public Co., or IVL, which rakes in $10.6 billion in revenue. Keep it in the family, you know what I'm saying? Worth $6 billion flat in February 2022, Prajogo Pangestu has been in the timber business for over 50 years. The son of a rubber trader has since expanded, making Barito Pacific Timber just into Barito Pacific in 1993, and eventually acquiring 70% of petrochemicals firm Chandra Asri. He eventually merged Chandra Asri with Tripolita Indonesia, becoming the largest integrated petrochemicals producer in the country. An impressive feat for a country of about 278 million people. Poor Prajogo lost $203 million in 2021, but the 77-year-old is still living a bespoke lifestyle if I've ever seen one. 12 years ago, he was worth only $475 million. Now, he's worth as much as the Dallas Cowboys. Like many billionaires in the East, though, he doesn't transmit his life day in and day out, so we don't know where he lives. But if I may, if you're shopping for a residence, I'd like to suggest this $14.9 million traditional Bali mansion. Villa Soria Damai is a 5-bedroom property well spread out across the lot. You come in through a Legend of Zelda-like pathway of trees into a living area pavilion with a thatched roof, a motif which recurs throughout the property. The hand-carved furniture and sculptures everywhere make it feel like the unique piece of the islands that it is. The open-air concept makes you feel like you are at one with nature, and yet uber comfortable. You know how glamorous camping is called glamping? Well, this living room will have you gliving. There is a temple area available to you for Tomb Raider-style adventures. Indoor-outdoor bathrooms are a way of life here, so when nature calls, you're really in nature. And no need for potpourri, as the bathroom garden keeps your world smelling fresh. It's got tennis courts. Yeah, can't be over-the-top opulent without home tennis courts. And a 59-foot swimming pool for dipping. For cruising around in the jungle, you gotta go for a $626,000 Brabus G800 truck. The aggressive-looking 800-horsepower brute that has that elegant matte carbon fiber finish is the perfect tool for an Indonesian transborneo off-road adventure. Founder and chairman of CT Corp Chairul Tanjung sits on a net worth of $7.9 billion. Through trial and error, Chairul went from riches to rags to super riches. The Jakarta-born entrepreneur knew what it was to lose everything early in life, as his father, A.G. Tanjung, lost his magazine company because of the suppression by the Suharto regime and had to sell their house and cars to stay afloat. His family downscaled their lifestyle to small apartment living, as Chairul started selling all kinds of things while he was studying dentistry at the University of Indonesia. Things like books, t-shirts, medical equipment, and children's footwear. These are all businesses he got into before founding the CT Group with late Sony founder Akip Morita. The CT Group is worth an impressive $12.6 billion and just got a fat $916 million investment from Japan's Mitsui & Co., who intend to grow the CT Group into a multinational corporation. As it stands, CT Corp is best known for issuing credit cards, operating hypermarkets, and running TV stations. Chairul is in the grocery biz with Trans Retail, which operates under Carrefour and Transmart. Oh, it doesn't stop there. The CT Corp has Wendy's, Versace, Mango, and Jimmy Choo franchises. A big chunk of wealth came to him recently when his shares in Alobank skyrocketed close to 100 times in value during a craze for online banking in Indonesia. Pretty impressive, as at best you can win 36 times your bet if your number comes up in roulette in the casino. He was able to try, fail, and persevere thanks to his mantra, which goes a little something like this, in his own words. Can you imagine? Not the strongest or the smartest people will become the winner, but the most adaptable. He gets to drive the latest BMW 7 Series, as he is a spokesperson for BMW Indonesia. If I were him, I wouldn't accept anything less than a $158,000 Beamer M760i xDrive. I'm sure he gets one, compliments of the company anyway. The V12 has screens up in the headrests controllable by a tablet, from the comfort of a feet-up position, no less. And for all my tall people out there, the lips of the front seats extend, making it possible for you, yes, even you, to get support all the way up to your kneecap. Hobbits and short people will never know the struggle. Susilo Onwudjojo, born Kai Daoping in Kediri, East Java, wields a $4.8 billion fortune. Being the son of Soraya Onwudjojo links his blood to a prominent Chinese-Indonesian family that founded Gundang Garam. The source of their power? Kretek, or clove cigarette manufacturing. This is another family that operates like the Wizard of Oz, pulling the strings from behind the curtain, while those that live in their world aren't even sure they exist. If I was a tobacco juggernaut who raked in about $7.6 billion a year in revenue, I'd ride dirty on the yellow brick road in an $800,000 Hongqi L5. The Dick Tracy villain-looking mini limousine costs the price of 1.5 times the more established Rolls-Royce Phantom. However, it is uniquely Chinese, as Hongqi means red flag. But there's nothing communist about this 3.2-ton luxury sedan. This monster celebrates capitalism loud and proud. Rosewood panels and cream leather adorn the interior, and it has jade in the door handles and golden sunflowers all over. Sure, it's slow, slightly stiff, and uncomfortable, but it looks sinful and ungodly, its most attractive quality. $4.2 billion man Boenjamin Setiawan is the 8th richest man in all of Indonesia as of February 2022. He has a PhD in pharmacology from UCLA and used it to found Kalbi Pharma in a garage in 1966 with his 5 siblings. It is now the largest pharmaceutical company in Indonesia today, market capped at $5.2 billion. Dr. Boen, as he is sometimes known, controls Mitra Keluarga, which operates 25 for-profit private hospitals and has a market capitalization of $2.5 billion. While his niece Bernadette Ruth Irawati Setiad serves as Kalbi Pharma's president, these days, the 88-year-old Dr. Boen devotes his time and money to developing his stem cell and cancer institute. If I was a drug master, how would I spend my golden years? On a sleek, carbon fiber, manta ray-inspired 332-foot, $90 million Nemesis 1 catamaran. Its aviation-style central cockpit looks astonishingly simple, and the unobstructed view of the deep blue would make you feel at one with Mother Nature. Sailing on the Pacific Ocean with your sailor cap on this hydrofoil catamaran until the sun goes down on you is a dream that Dr. Boen can actually afford to live. Good for him. The Kardashian family rents out a 10-bedroom home in Tanaban, Bali. The Suri estate is a beachfront luxury villa the Armenian-American family vacates to when the camera flashes get to be all too much. It comes with an outdoor shower just outside the master bedroom from which you can see the ocean. A perfect place for lewd selfies. It doesn't get more luxurious than that. It's $9,900 a night during the high season.